After 18,000 hours and 5 years of service, my main AUC monitor started to throw critical errors and blue screening my system, so I replaced it. Not with another 24-inch desktop display, not with a 27-inch 1440p panel, but with a 16.1-inch portable monitor, the Arzopa Z3FC. Now, if you've searched for this panel on YouTube, you've probably seen a dozen of videos saying the exact same thing. Look how bright it is, or look how well it runs my Nintendo Switch in a hotel room. But almost nobody is talking about how this panel actually performs when you push it to high refresh, high density desktop driver. Most people wouldn't talk about the controller chip, the color clamping, or how to actually unlock its full refresh rate if you're on a budget. I bought this unsponsored. Actually, it was a gift. Shout out to my friend Abnara. She gave me this as a gift because I'm struggling right now. And I have been focused on the specs for weeks. And today we're going past the surface level marketing to look what's actually under the hood of this display. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a professional. I don't own a $1,000 colorimeter or calibration tools. I am just a nerd, to be honest with you guys. And what happened is when I let my hyperfocus run wild, that's the type of stuff that happens. And that's what you're gonna get in this video. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk a little bit. First off, before we even plug in and look at the numbers, we need to talk about what's in the box, okay? Before we talk about the numbers, I want to give credit where credit is due regarding the unboxing. In an industry where a $1,000 smartphone don't even come with charging bricks anymore, Arzopa includes a thick cushion carrying sleeve that actually protects the screen from scratches on the go, plus 3 distinct cables, mini HDMI to HDMI, a full-featured USB-C to USB-C cable for video and limited power, and a dedicated USB-C power cable with an adapter to USB-A. For an affordable, supposedly portable panel, having every cable you could possibly need right out of the box, plus a protective sleeve, is huge. If anyone at Arzopa happens to watch this video, thank you for not cutting corners on the packaging, accessories, but while I'm at it, if you change batches, I would like to suggest including USB-C to DisplayPort 1.4, the bidirectional cable as well, because there are users that won't have the USB-C ready GPU, okay, and would love to use the 1440p at 180 Hz as well. So let's start with the heart of this display, the scholarship. Okay, deep in the poorly shot 3 AM teardown video from I believe it was a Thailand video, the link is in the description by the way, I managed to spot the actual controller chip on the board, the Realtek RTD2775QT. Okay, why does this matter? Because controller tuning determines how a monitor handles motion blur and overdrive. On a budget display, overdrive is usually just marketing, a checkbox, nonetheless, that causes terrible overshoot and glowing halos behind fast-moving objects. But on this panel, Realtek tuned it surprisingly well. It's just a simple toggle in the menu, but turning it on genuinely tightens up motion clarity without creating those nasty artifacts, even at 144 Hz instead of the 180. For a budget portable board, that tuning is a massive win, to be completely honest with you. Next, let's talk about the color and clear up a huge misconception online, okay? If you read user reviews, a lot of people claim this display has a yellow tint or weak blues, right? but that's fundamentally misunderstanding how display profiles work. Okay, out of the box, the native display profile pushes a color temperature between 7500 to 9000 Kelvin, right? That super cool blue heavy tint is what most people are used to on a cheap, uncalibrated screen. It's designed to pop on a store shelf or boost alertness in an office. Studies show that blue enriched light at like 7500 to 9000 Kelvin increases focus and brain activity actually. But standard D65 daylight white balance, right, is 6500K. It isn't yellow, it's just a warmer natural tone that's drastically easier on your eyes. If you give your eyes 20 minutes to adapt, that perceived tint disappears, unless you're staring side by side at a blown out blue monitor next to it, then it's kinda complicated. When you clamp this display to its sRGB profile, it grounds the color temperature to that accurate 6500K standard. People aren't seeing a yellow defect, they're just seeing proper color calibration for the first time on a $129 display, currently translating to about $699 to $1,199 in Brazil, where I live. Plus its true 8-bit panel that can accept a 10-bit, YCRBR at 422 signal, or RGB 8-bit with jittering for 10-bit, so it's kind of a fake 10-bit panel. For lightweight photo editing and digital art, it punches way above its price class, and I'll touch more on that in a bit. Now, a quick note on the HDR. The Z3FC advertises HDR10 support, which is true. It doesn't have a VISA HDR 400 or anything, to be honest, on the certification, and Windows will gladly let you run Windows HDR calibration too and output 8-bit plus FRC, right? But after testing it for 3 days across games and media and even doing random office work, my advice is simple: leave HDR turned off, okay? This isn't a fault with Arzopa, it's basic physics, HDR content is typically mastered for a display capable of 600 to 1000 nits, right? With per pixel or local dimming, correct? Because this is a standard fast IPS panel without full array local dimming, enabling HDR just crushes your contrast and make dark areas look washed out or gray, and you don't want that. Fake or entry-level HDR on an Edge Elite IPS panel is a marketing gimmick at best, and on a display like this you will get a far punchier, better image sticking to calibrated sRGB in SDR mode. Now for the headline spec, okay, the 180Hz. If you connect this panel over USB-C using DisplayPort out mode, you'll get the full 1440p at 180Hz out of the box. But if you're using the included mini HDMI to HDMI cable, Windows caps you at 144Hz. Isn't really Windows, it's because mini HDMI port caps out at exactly 600 MHz pixel clock, right? Virtually every review stops there and say, well, HDMI is limited and that's about it. Not here. So here's the trick that apparently nobody mentioned. Maybe because people fear breaking the display, or maybe they just don't know about it, I don't know. If you play competitive shooters like CS2 or Valorant, for example, you're probably dropping your resolution for maximum FPS anyway. So using custom resolution utility, or CRU, or adding a custom resolution in your GPU driver, you can drop to 1080p or even 1280 to 960 or whatever the resolution you use, and add it to 180Hz. It's not limited, okay? It's not the HDMI, it's not the panel, it's just band, okay? So 1080p at 180, you will get about 580 megahertz. So it's under the 600, which means it will play completely nice. But bear in mind, if you play like me, 4:3 resolution like 1280 by 960 or 1024 by 768, the math is the same, but the image will stretch to full screen. It will not run with black bars, okay? And that's something you have to keep in mind. Now, buying a bidirectional USB-C to DisplayPort cable, like one from Cable Matters, for example, to run native 1440p 180Hz is still the best choice that you can make. But if money is tight, this custom resolution trick lets you hit 180Hz without spending an extra dime here and there, you know. There is a quick word I would like to give on the thermals and power, because this raised some red flags in online comments too, and most people are sponsored so they don't mention it at all, okay? The bottom of the casing gets noticeably hot during extended sessions, by the way, but that's by design. Let me explain. The entire chassis of this is made of aluminum, okay? Acting as a giant passive heatsink to pull heat away from the driver board and the panel. It's doing exactly what a laptop chassis does. Just follow standard tech etiquette, don't place it on the bed, don't clog the airflow around the frame, and you're good to go. There is no harm being done to your display because it's getting hot. As for power, Arzopa's own team confirmed peak power draw sits around 19 watts at 100% brightness and 1440p 180Hz. I'm running mine off a standard 25 watt Samsung wall brick with zero stability issues, and decent 25 to 35 watts charger is the sweet spot from what I noticed. But here's the massive caveat. Use the official power cable included in the box. Standard phone charging cables are designed for short bursts of battery top-offs. Using the included high-grade cables or even their included USB-C to USB-A 3.2 adapter is crucial for long-term safety and stability. So, how does a 16.1-inch display actually feel as a primary desktop driver? Most default Windows EDID profiles recommend setting scaling to 150%. This one does 200% on a panel that is like this small, but at a normal desktop viewing angle, about 55 to 60 centimeters, I run this at 100% native scaling. Now, full disclosure here, an eye doctor once explained to me that I have hypervisual acuity, basically 20/10 vision. It's why I'm super sensitive to things like PWM screen flicker, 6 bits and temporal dithering, or even dark smearing that most people don't even notice. So for my eyes, at a massive 182 ppi, running 100% scaling doesn't cause eye strain. The text is just razor sharp, and I enjoy the extra space as well. Having 3 full-size documents or code editors open side by side on a 16.1-inch screen without pixelation feels like a productivity cheat code, you know. As an artist, color representation and crisp line definition matters. While I wouldn't replace a dedicated high-end colorist display for master printing, for digital painting, photo editing, and general media creation, the clarity on this panel is shockingly good once calibrated. The one thing that I don't want to really focus on is the bad thing on this display, in my opinion, is the, speaker. Well, they exist, they're thin, tiny, and sound like a flip phone speaker from 2006. But honestly, on a budget portable monitor, I'd much rather Arzopa save manufacturing costs on speakers than the panel quality, you know. Grab a cheap desktop soundbar or use headphones and don't rely on the built-in audio, to be completely honest with you. I get why they did it, I suppose to be an all-in display on the go, but in all honesty, if you use speakers outside, you're part of a whole nother problem in society. But jokes aside, I'd rather use some good IEMs or earbuds on my handheld instead. Those would give the proper experience rather than speakers. So, at the end of the day, the Arzopa Z3FC isn't just a gimmick for playing Switch games or PlayStation games or whatever portable. And if you understand what's under the hood, if you know how to leverage the Realtek controller, set up your color profiles properly, and use custom resolution to bypass HDMI bandwidth caps, it turns into a remarkably powerful ultra dense budget gaming display. It won't replace a high-end 32-inch OLED monitor, but for a budget setup, a secondary display, or even a compact main driver, it punches well above its price tag. Once again, I am a student of life itself, or a scholar if you may, so I love learning, and if you know things I mention here that are factually wrong, I want you to nudge at me and teach me the proper science behind it, right? Feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer you all. Have a great day, afternoon, evening, and bye bye.